Hello, my name is Renz. I will be your social worker for this session. What's your name?
I'm Andrea.
Nice to meet you. Um, Tell me a little bit about yourself. What are some hobbies you have?
Um, wow, I don't know if I've really had a lot of time for hobbies recently. I really like to draw.
Drawing?
Yeah, I really like to draw. And like hang out with my friends and like go to the movies and stuff, I guess. Yeah.
What are some things you like to draw?
I really like to draw animals,
Animals,
like
okay.
my pets specifically.
Oh, your pets? What pets do you have?
Yeah, I have a dog. His name is Floof, and I have I know, kind of a silly name, but like we named him when we were really little. We've had him for a
Okay.
really long time. He's a cute little fluffy dog, and I like to draw like wolves and just like a bunch of different animals. I don't know. I just like
Okay.
Animals are so much more fun to draw than people for me.
Oh, no, that's
I don't know.
fun. I love animals. I have a dog myself. What type of breed is Floof?
We don't really know.
Oh,
We just got him
yeah.
from the pound.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's always fun having an animal. Well, before we begin, I'd just like to go over how this is going to work a little bit. So we'll be having a session for about 45 or so minutes, and we'll just be discussing and talking and, the issues that you came in here for. And I will go over our confidentiality statement as well, which is anything that is said between the two of us here today will remain in this room. I will not spread that to anyone else unless you give me permission to do so.
Okay.
But that extends to exceptions, which have to deal with if I believe you will harm anyone else or harm yourself. And this harm extends to the elderly, other children, and people with disabilities. So, do you have any questions about that statement?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, let's begin. What brought you in today?
I'm just feeling really stressed about everything in my life right now. My my parents were arrested. They were arrested for really bad stuff, and they're in prison right now, and they're gonna be there for a really long time. And so that means that my siblings and I are living with my aunt and uncle right now, but we probably yeah, our parents are gonna be in jail for a really long time, and it's just really hard because I feel like now I have to be the parent, and it's not fair. It's not fair. They're just it's not fair. I'm so mad at them. Like, they're just so selfish, and I just can't believe that, like, I'm never gonna, I visit them, so I see them, but we're never gonna be a family again, and they ruined all of that, and I'm here because I'm just really stressed, and I'm taking care of my siblings. My aunt and uncle are ultimately taking care of us.
Okay.
We're living with them right now. But like I feel like a lot of pressure is put on me to be like the oldest, like to be the good example of the oldest sibling who takes care of everyone, and making sure that they get their assignments done or do chores, or like just like teaching them things. Like I feel like I shouldn't be put under that pressure, and it's really annoying because I just want it to go back to the way it was before, where I could just be young.
Yeah, I can see how hard that can be for you. That's a lot to, go through. How old did you say you were? I don't know if you mentioned.
I'm 18.
18?
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings at all?
Yeah. I have a sibling. I have Mark is my little brother, and then Annie is my other little sister. And
Okay.
Mark is about he's turning 15, and Annie is 12.
Oh, okay. So you have two siblings.
Mhm.
How long ago were your parents taken into, custody?
It's been about like a few months now.
A few months.
So
Okay.
it's not been super long, but I guess long enough for it to become normal.
Okay. That really is a lot, and I'm sorry that you have to go through this. No one at your age should have to deal with these kind of things. But how have you been so far? You know, you mentioned you lived with your aunt and uncle.
Yeah, I mean they're really sweet, but it's not like my family. Like, I mean, I like them. Like, it's not like I don't really have a problem with them at all. It's just it's not what it was. It's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, of course.
And it just doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm like expected to be this adult or whatever, and like, yeah, I'm like legally an adult or whatever, but like most people my age, like all of my friends in school can go do things like late at night, and they can go have fun, and they don't have to worry about like taking care of their siblings as much, and I have to like always come home early to make sure everything's in order and make sure my sibling, like pick up my siblings from school, and like all of these things that my parents should be, like make lunches for them, like all of these things that my parents should be doing and worrying about, and now like now I have to do them. And so I guess I'm just not like, I don't know how to handle it, I guess. It's just I just really hate my life right now.
Yeah. I'm very sorry that you are going through this once again. But what is it like to live with people that aren't your parents? Like, do they take care of you well enough? Your aunt and uncles?
Yeah, they take care of me pretty well. It's like kind of annoying when they tell me what to do though, because like they're not my parents, and yet I feel like I don't have any parents, that they're supposed to be my parents, and it's kind of just this weird. It's weird. It's really weird, and it's awkward, and it doesn't feel like a home. It feels like a facility sometimes, where I'm just supposed to be just because there's nowhere else to put me. And I know they love us. Like, I know they care for us, but I don't think that they wanted us. Like, I mean, if you ask them, they probably would say the opposite, but I mean, who wants to take care of their brother or sister's kids, you know?
Yeah.
Like, who really wants, no one wants to do that. And so I feel like sometimes they just probably wish they were out of the situation too. So it just kind of feels like, I mean, who wants us anymore, you know? Our parents obviously didn't want us enough because they got in such big trouble. And so obviously they didn't think about the repercussions. We didn't matter enough for them to think about that, obviously. So it's like...
Yeah, well, how do you feel they are taking it, your aunt and uncle, this whole situation?
You know, I mean, probably really good. You know,
Really?
I think that, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not like something that they'd want, but I think at the same time, like, seeing the circumstances, I feel like they're actually doing really good. Like, I can't even be mad at them or irritated at them, because they're like, they took us in when we could have gone, when they could have let us go to a foster system like all our other family members would have, like we almost did, but they stepped in and like, you know what, I may not like my living situation, but they are there for us. And I've heard a lot of stories, you know, you never think these things will happen to you.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of stories of people that have this happen to them and how they went to the foster care system, and you know, my life sucks right now, and it'd suck even more if I was in the foster system. So I think that they're, I don't know. I don't really know how they feel. I don't really talk to them about it because we don't really like to think, I don't want to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. How old were they? Did you say? I don't believe you mentioned.
My siblings?
The age of your aunt and uncle.
They're like 50s, 60s, so they're a little
50s, 60s, okay.
older. Yeah.
You had mentioned previously as well that you felt like the home was a facility. Do they live in their own apartment complex or like their own individual house?
It just, yeah, I mean, it feels, so we live in like a really teeny little home, and I'm not used to that because like I have a lot of siblings, so we had a bigger home. So it just kind of feels like I'm there to sleep and eat,
Okay.
rather than actually like live. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, okay, I understand.
And so I guess the reason why, I don't know, I guess the reason why I said that is just because it just doesn't feel like, I don't experience the same love
Mm-hmm.
as I did before,
Okay.
I guess. It just feels very like we're there because we have to be there.
So it's a home to you, but it doesn't feel like you truly belong in this area?
Yeah, like it's a temporary home, but it's not home.
Okay.
I
How do
don't
you
know.
feel your siblings are taking this whole thing? I know they're on the younger side. Do they fully understand the scope of this?
I think that they do understand pretty well. Honestly, like, I think a lot of people think, assume that kids don't get it or whatever, but, like, honestly, my little siblings, like, it's hard for them because they want mom and dad probably more than I do
Sure. Yeah.
because they're not, like, I had them for longer, so it's better for me in a sense because I experienced them longer, whereas they don't just, maybe they don't even understand, maybe I understand the whole situation a little bit better, like why they got arrested and etc. But my siblings just I think they think that they're going to be back, and I know that they won't. I know that they won't be back, and I don't even know if they want to come back.
You're not sure if your family wants to come back, your parents?
Well, why'd they get in trouble to begin with if they wanted us?
Okay. Well, I don't want you to believe that this whole situation is any fault of your own, because this has nothing to do with anything you've done. I don't want you to feel that you are to blame for this whole situation. So, but what do you know about the cause of your parents' arrest? Do you understand any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I know pretty much all of it.
Okay.
I'm an adult, so they've told me a lot. My parents, they were involved in some gang activity,
Oh, I see.
and I'm just like, they just did some really bad things. They did really bad things, and I just don't know how to I honestly don't even know all that they did. I just know that they were involved in gang activity and drugs and just a bunch of different things. And I mean, I guess I don't understand how we had no idea, cause people came over to our house all the time, and so I don't know how I didn't see it. I'm just really stupid. I guess I just didn't really know, but
So when you were living before your parents were taken in, you had not noticed any signs before of any activity that seemed suspicious?
they had a lot of friends come over that were really interesting. But I always was just raised in that environment of we were just very accepting of everyone.
Okay.
I guess I just assumed that they just had a bunch of different kinds of friends and that they loved everyone. But I didn't the police told us that there was a lot of illegal transactions between my parents and some people, but that never happened in our house.
Okay.
So I mean, at least they didn't do that in our house, so that's good. But it was just mainly the only thing that I can recognize. I didn't really notice it. Even if I noticed signs, it just kind of I passed it off because it's my parents would never do anything like that,
Okay.
And then they did. But in a moment, it's you rationalize,
So it seemed like you had full trust in your parents. So this must have felt like a betrayal to you as well when all of this came to light.
Yeah, it did. I kind of when I first heard about it, I didn't think it was true. I thought it was I thought that they were lying to me and that someone was trying to get my parents in trouble and that they were set up. And that's what my parents are telling me. They're telling me that they're set up. But after all the evidence that I've seen, I think they did it. And I don't know what to believe anymore. Because I visit them and they tell me that they're going to be out soon. And
Okay.
they tell me that it's not what it looks like, but like how am I supposed to like, I don't know what to believe. I'm so frustrated. I just want to know the truth, and no one's like, my parents, I think they're lying to me. And like, I think to a certain extent people try to protect me from the truth. But I just want to know. I just want to know if they're coming back.
Okay. So from what I'm hearing, is you're just sort of seeking the truth about everything because you're being fed information from many different sources. So you just want to find out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good place to start. So we can start by going over things that you know for sure. So when we talk about what life was before this arrest, what was it like living with your parents? What do you know your parents being, to you, and the way they treated you and your siblings before the whole ordeal?
I mean, there was never they never treated us badly. Like, I know that, like, you're probably expecting to hear me say, well, they, like, beat us or something, or trying to pull that out of me. Like, that's not what happened. Like, they never hurt us or harmed us or treated us badly or abused us. Like, nothing ever like that happened. Like, they were good parents. Like, they may not have been perfect, but they were good parents, And so, I guess, like, I mean, they drink a little bit, but, like, everyone drinks a little bit, So, they were normal. Like, our family was normal. Like, we had problems, but we were normal. And, like, I felt good about life. Like, sure, and there's always those moments in life where you just, like, feel like crap. But, like, I felt good. Like, I think life is great. Maybe it feels better now that I'm here. Maybe it looks better now to me, but it was good.
So this all came as a surprise to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you present at all on the when it all happened?
Yeah.
What was that like for you and your sibling?
It was really scary. I thought the police were there for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I just never, in my wildest dreams, dreamed that would happen. Like, or thought that would happen.
What do you feel about your parents now? Now that they're, you mentioned that you visit them every once in a while as well. So when you visit them, what is your interaction like?
Usually I just sit there and listen to them. I haven't really told them how I feel because I don't want to, like, I don't know, part of me still doesn't want to disappoint them, but now that I think about it, that's just stupid because they've disappointed me more than I could ever disappoint them. So maybe I should just let them have it and just tell them off and how I feel, but I feel like I just listen because I feel like I owe it to them or something to listen, but they just keep telling me the same stuff, and, like, I don't know whether they're telling me the truth or not. And, like, I just want them to tell me the truth.
Okay.
And I feel like they're lying to me. Because why would they just be arrested? Like all the evidence I've seen, like, it makes sense. It actually makes sense, which is what's really, like, weird, is it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
It kind of adds up. Like, even though I didn't see it before.
So what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that, you visit your parents and a part of you still views them as sort of this figure that you seek to please, but you also seem to hold a little bit of resentment and anger for everything that took place.
Yeah.
But part of that anger just stems from you also not understanding completely why all of these things were taking place. Because you had mentioned that, prior to this event, everything seemed normal to you. You seemed like a picture-perfect family with, their ups and downs, but everything was normal to you. So.
Yeah.
But when you visit, do you go with your siblings, or is it just you?
It's usually just me. They don't really like my siblings to go, like, the department, and my aunt and uncle don't really like it when my siblings go, just because they're so young.
Okay.
But since I'm legally an adult, I mean, I can do whatever I want. I mean, not to be like, that came out wrong. It's just like, I feel I can go. but like my siblings, they can, but they prefer that they don't. So my siblings typically listen, but we do have a visitation coming up. But I almost like for my siblings to go see my parents, but I'm almost worried because I'm afraid that my parents are going to give them false hope, because my siblings already have this stupid construction in their mind that my parents are coming home, our parents are coming home soon. But I don't think it's happening.
Okay.
And I just can't, like, they've already been so crushed, and like we've all been so crushed, and I can't imagine like just like seeing like I can't imagine that like my parents telling them that they're coming home and they don't show up.
Mm. So a part of you also feels protective of your siblings because you don't want them to go through the disappointment of a parent that sort of lets you down in such a major way.
Yeah, because they have no one to be there for them anymore. I mean, except for me and my aunt and uncle, but like, I mean, they're not our parents. They don't understand. They don't know who we are.
Okay, understand. Well, I wanted to commend you on the maturity that you seem to be showing. You know, you're still quite young. I know that you've said you're 18, but for anyone to go through something like this at this age, it really shows how strong you are to be able to go through all this, and you know, going through all these situations like living with your aunt and uncle and taking care of your siblings. I think that you're doing really well, and you might not be giving yourself as much credit as you should be, because nobody deserves to be going through this, but I think you've shown that you handle it extremely well.
Thank you.
Well, how do you feel personally? Because you've mentioned that you feel a little bit of anger, a little bit of stress. You know, there's a lot of things I'm sure going through your mind. But how do you feel like this has affected you personally? Because I hear that you are still attending school.
Yeah, I'm still attending school. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. How has this affected you socially at all? Do your friends know about this whole situation?
Yeah, everyone knows about it.
Okay.
It's embarrassing.
I can understand how that can be embarrassing as well. Have your grades been affected at all by this?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. What about your teachers? Have they, talk to you about this at all, or do they not know?
My teachers don't give a crap about me.
Okay.
I tried to. My teachers or whatever. They act like they care, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They do their job. They get up front in class and they give their lecture, and that's it. And
Okay.
whatever. I'm okay with that. I don't care about them, so it's whatever.
Well, what about your other relatives and family members? Because I'm sure they all.
I mean,
are
they don't
aware of
care.
this.
They weren't there for us. Like there's so many. We have a big family, and yet at the same time, like no one came forward when the police or whoever it was, social workers, you guys, like came and said we needed to be housed. Like no one came forward. Like it took so much prodding for our aunt and uncle to come forward.
Mm.
And we have a lot of family members, grandpa and grandmas and cousins and other aunts and uncles, and no one wanted us.
So it sort of felt like you were neglected in a way by the rest of your relatives, and nobody
Yeah.
wanted to, sort of step up to the plate and care for you.
I felt like they should have. I felt like if they really cared, these are the people I grew up with, and I felt like they should have been like immediately like all get together and be like, we're gonna figure this out together. But it wasn't like that at all. It was like we were alone, and like I've never felt so scared in my life because I felt like my siblings were gonna be taken away from me, and I felt like I was alone, and I felt like. It sounds selfish, but like I have dreams, I want to do things. I want to go to school. I want to go to college. And like I felt like all of a sudden, because of my parents' stupid decision, that I wouldn't be able to do any of that. And like that sounds really selfish, but but my siblings wouldn't be able to like do what they wanted to do, and no one came forward to like I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, no need to apologize. So you feel affected, not just personally, but as if your closest immediate family had sort of had their future put on hold as well by this. Would you say you feel defined by this event now, in a way?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm that kid at school. Her parents are in jail, and they're probably crazy or crackhead. Like I hear it all over school, and you know, like now I'm that kid that's me. That's her parents, and poor them. And I'm not looked at the same way. Like my friends don't know how to act around me anymore, except for some of my good friends, some of my close friends, but like most of them don't even like, I thought they cared, but like, you know what the biggest thing I've learned out of this is that I thought so many people cared for me, and come to find out, like, not as many people care for me as I thought they did. Like my family members, like some of my really good friends, like I thought all of these people were like I really thought they'd be there for me, and they weren't.
Okay. So, what I'm hearing from everything we've spoken about so far is basically that this whole event seems to have sort of turned your world upside down in a way. You know, you're thrust into this whole new situation where you're no longer living in the house that you have been living in for a while, and you have to now live with other relatives, and you have to take care of your siblings as well as dealing with seeing your parents, like for visitations, and also maintaining education and dealing with the judgment of peers and the relatives that didn't seem to want to take care of you. So there's many reasons that this can seem like such a hard hurdle to be able to surpass. But once again, you've shown, like, just in conversation, that despite all of the emotions you're feeling, you still seem to be able to have a grip on what you know you need to do. So I'm gonna ask you sort of a strange type of question. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
If you had the chance to make a wish, and this was a wish that would be able to rectify any problem that you have in your life currently, what kind of wish would you make?
I mean, if we're not like thinking about like getting my parents out of jail, going back to normal, I mean, it would be that like it could be that, I mean, I don't know, I feel like people would show they cared by like being there for me in ways like helping me with my siblings, wanting to actually know how I'm doing. I would wish for like freedom.
Okay.
Being able to do things I want to do again.
So you sort of feel held back as well. Like this, you have chains on you that.
Is that bad?
No, not at all.
Like, I feel so bad that I feel like my siblings are tying me down. Like, I love them, but they're also just like, I didn't sign up to be a parent yet.
Of course.
You know? Like, I love them and I want to take care of them, and I feel like the right thing to do would be like being perfectly okay with like being their caregiver, but I don't want to be. Like, I want them to be in my life and I want to live with them. I want to be family with them, but I don't want to be their parent.
True.
I just like
Okay.
I can't be who I want to be with them as my children. They're not my kids. They're my siblings.
Yes, of course. That's a perfectly normal way to feel, because you've had this responsibility thrust on you, and nobody should have that responsibility at your age, especially. But you know, if, wishing for your parents to be out of prison is a very hefty wish. So, wishing for your own personal freedom shows that you understand your place and what you want to do, what you seek.
Because
So,
them getting out of jail isn't gonna happen.
okay.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
We can transition into sort of an activity of some sorts.
Okay.
It's called an eco map. I'll explain it to you a little bit. It's basically a map of the different connections you have in your life and how each connection is related to you and whether the energy you put towards that activity or the energy that is directed towards you is healthy or maybe strained or maybe a little toxic. So it's just a little overview of, you.
Connections like I'm seeing like work and like what?
Yes.
Like oh, okay, I get it. Okay.
Well, it may make more sense as we continue to work through it, but we can begin by writing your name in the center because you will be the centerpiece of the map.
Okay.
So, write your name here. And we can start with, you mentioned work. Do you work at all?
Yeah, actually, like it's funny that I didn't. Yeah, I do work. I work at Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a
That's one thing.
barista. So, I mean, that's another thing. Now my funds are going towards the family. So.
Okay. So you work at Starbucks. You
Yeah.
mentioned that the money you make there goes towards your family.
Yep.
Specifically, for
Just
what?
finances. Like
Finances.
like my aunt and uncle say that because of the circumstances, I have to pull my weight,
I see.
and so it goes towards food and stuff, and so it's no longer my money.
Okay. But in terms of your work specifically, how do you feel about it? Do you enjoy working there?
You know, it actually is really nice working there.
Okay.
Like it's really stressful, especially when my parents first got like put in jail. Like it was stressful just because like customers can be stupid sometimes, and it was just really stressful. But I do like my coworkers. Like I feel like I work in a really good working environment. Like I'm pretty lucky for that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So would you say that the energy you put towards Starbucks is a strong one? Like you have a good connection?
Oh yeah, I put a lot of energy into
Okay.
working there, and I feel like it's pretty. Yeah, I feel like I have a good job. My employees, and like, well, my boss treats me great too, and we have cool benefits like free coffee and stuff.
Okay, that's always
So.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
So it's,
nice.
from what I'm hearing, Starbucks seems to be a very positive aspect in your life. Aside from not being able to benefit off of the money much, it's like a good release of stress for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You also mentioned your aunt and uncle, so we can include them as well. How do you feel your connection is with them?
You know, that's funny. I've never really. I feel like we get along.
Okay.
It's kind of stressful because like, I feel like I probably should treat them better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mentioned earlier, they have done a lot for us, but I feel like I'm always annoyed at them.
Okay. So would you say you have a more stressful relationship overall, or maybe it's more,
It's more
tenuous?
probably more like just like it's stressful, but it's not like bad,
Okay.
so it's kind of like in the middle.
So maybe half stressful, half okay?
Yeah, like
It's
we're
just there.
okay. Yeah, it's just like it's a little stressful just because I'm not used to them parenting me.
So it has its positives and it also has its negatives. at the same
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's a good way to put it.
How do you feel they put energy towards you? Do they?
Honestly, they put a lot. I
They
can't
do?
even complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
They really do. They do a lot for us. Like, sometimes I feel very ungrateful. Like, you know what? They do a lot for us.
What about your siblings?
I feel like I put a lot of energy into Mark and Annie. I feel like I give them a lot of my time,
Mm-hmm.
money, as I was talking about earlier. practically raising them now, like, they can be ungrateful little stinks sometimes.
Children do have, that sort of mentality, and they are quite young. But you've shown your maturity in the way you're taking care of them. But I can see how that can seem a little draining for you because, you put energy towards them, but do they seem to be putting energy back? I know that they're still young, so that might not be the case.
Can't really.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like they take, and I love them, but like that's just how it feels,
Okay.
Maybe that's how all parents feel. I don't even know. I'm not supposed to be a parent, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I know they love me, and I love them, but they don't do anything for me. They're too young.
Okay.
To really even understand what I need, probably, to a full extent.
So right now we have your work environment, we have your aunt and uncle, we have your siblings. Why don't we mention your parents? What type of connection do you feel you have with them? How would you describe them?
I don't like them very much right now.
Okay. But despite not liking them, would you still say you have a stronger connection with them? Or has it sort of tapered down a little bit? You're trying to...
I don't trust them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not telling me everything. They're not telling me the truth, so why should I even, why should I respect them?
Okay. Do you feel like they're putting energy towards you? Or you're putting energy towards them, or is there just not really any energy at all?
I definitely put energy towards them. I go visit them.
Okay.
Like I take the time to I take the time to go over there. So I feel like I definitely put energy into them, and maybe they think they put energy into me too, but they really the fact that their butts are in jail and prison right now shows me the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
They put a lot of energy into themselves and getting themselves in there, but they don't really, they can't really put a lot of energy into us. They can't, because they're locked up. They can't really do a lot.
That's true, yes. What about hobbies of yours? Do you have any hobbies that, you put a lot of effort into right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get time to draw, but when I do, it's really nice.
Okay, drawing, that's a good activity to do. You mentioned you like to draw animals, if I remember.
Yeah.
So that's a good stress reliever as well for you?
Yeah, actually, I think I'll go home and draw tonight.
Yeah, that's good. So sort of to go over what we have so far, some of the strong connections you have specifically are, drawing to relieve stress is something, Starbucks, to work. Your siblings, you put a lot of energy towards them because you love them. And a strong connection is also your aunt and uncle, but it is a little stressful at times. And a connection that you are sort of on the lesser end of are your parents, because you feel like they're doing a lot of hiding. So what type of support systems would you say you have? Do you have any people that you sort of turn to talk to about problems? Any friends?
I did. I used to have a lot, I thought, but I guess then they weren't good friends. I have this one friend, and he's really been there for me. His name is Dan.
Okay.
And he, when everyone else was being super judgmental and didn't know what they were talking about and stopped talking to me or were really awkward around me, he acted really normal, and he treated me like he did before, and he listened to me, and he actually sometimes comes over, or not, he comes over a lot. We grew up together, so he at least is there for me and my siblings even, he helps me with them sometimes.
Okay.
So just the little things he does just really help. I really appreciate him a lot.
Okay, that's good. So you do have somebody that you're able to go to talk to with your problems, and that's really great that you have someone to talk to for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So sort of to go over all of this and everything else we've talked about so far, why don't we start with what is it that you hope to get from today? Hope to.
You know, probably just how to make my how to be okay with living like this,
Okay.
or how to still find time to be freely me, and how to like continue to do what I want to do, and like pursue the things that I want to pursue,
Mhm.
and like get the resources I need to like go to school or whatever, but also like how to gain peace about my situation, because I don't think it's gonna change.
Okay. So you've mentioned you're seeking peace about this whole situation, freedom as well, to be able to make your own decisions, and a way to just deal with living life, because this is your new reality. So for our next session, because we will be meeting, because that is what the order by the court was for our new sessions, we can set goals for the future for our next session.
Okay.
Let's start with peace and sort of acceptance about this whole thing, because you've mentioned that you do still feel a little anger about all of this. So is there anything that you can see yourself being able to achieve within this 1 week period? Say, confronting friends, would that be an idea that you could?
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I've been thinking about for sure, and I think that I mean, Dan's talked to me about that
Okay.
too. Just like telling the people I care about how I really feel. So I feel like I can do that.
Okay. So would you say that in about a week you'd be able to come back and say that you have talked to 2 of your friends about the whole event and sort of clear things up with them? Any misconceptions? Would that be achievable goal for you?
You know, yeah. I think
Okay.
that they may not. I don't know how they're gonna take it, but I think I could definitely say that I'd have 2 conversations with people. It's been really stressful. I just really already want to talk to them about it. So honestly, yeah.
Okay. I know that you've also mentioned that you feel fairly swamped with all of these things that are taking place. You don't feel like you have too much time for yourself, and you do enjoy drawing. So another goal that we could set is making some time for yourself. So maybe taking a few hours to draw a week, just to settle down and cool off. Would that be something you believe could be achievable?
I mean, I'd like to think that. I just don't know like when, like I want to be able to do that, but like I don't know, like
Okay.
I don't know when.
So we could start slower, or take it one step at a time. So why don't we say until the next session, anytime during this next week, you take at least 3 hours. On any day you could do 30 minutes one day, 20 minutes the next day, as long as it totals 3 hours. And then tell me how it feels like to sort of juggle that.
Yeah, that sounds
okay?
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something you could do. Our session is coming to a close, so to sort of go over everything we've been through so far, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being absolutely terrible, 10 being great, how would you say you're handling this whole situation right now?
You know, honestly, like I felt like pretty hopeless. I mean, you're great, but like just talking about it kind of made me a little sad again, but
Mhm.
like I don't know, like talking about like doing stuff for myself kind of made me feel a lot better.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, empowering almost, because, like, I can, like, those are things that, you know, like you said, like, I'm good at, like, you know, like, I can do it, and, like, I believe I can do it, and I want to do it. And, like, I feel like I feel more motivated now. I've just been feeling really depressed and unmotivated recently
Mhm.
about the whole thing. So, like, honestly, I feel like I'm at a 6.
6? That's good.
Yeah.
It's not a
Maybe that
1.
doesn't sound very good, but
That's
I
not a
feel like
5.
it's really good for me. I don't know.
Well, if you look at it from the perspective of a 6 being, you still have 3 levels of greatness to go, then that's a good way to view it, because there's still so much room for you to really succeed. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me about before we end the session?
Would you be able to like set a plan, like a plan with me and how to like what time of the day like to draw? Cause like I really like I want to do it, but I just don't know how to like
Okay.
formulate it like myself.
Okay, of course. Would
Like
because I know you attend school.
yeah.
So
So I get home like
8.
around. Yeah, I get home. I get off work. I mean school. I get off school at like 3:30, and then I go to work. And I usually get home pretty late. I usually get home at like 9 or 10, between 9 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually like don't like to do homework during that time. I try to finish homework during other times.
Okay, because it sounds like you get home fairly late.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I try to just kind of like. I usually watch TV
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, but maybe I could take a little less time to watch TV.
Okay.
Or like draw while I watch TV.
True. You could draw while you watch TV, while you're eating dinner, or you could also maybe, if you wake up a little bit earlier, you could draw in the morning to help you get refreshed. To help you start off your day drawing, doing something you love. It could help the rest of your day.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
Okay. Well, our next session is set for next week at the same time. Does that work out for you still?
Yeah, that works for me. That works.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. I think we've made a lot of progress today. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you.